Welcome back to another episode of the What We're Watching podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jenny, and today we're talking about Taylor Swift, The End of an Era.
Welcome to the month of celeb docs.
Have we been waiting for this the whole time? For years?
I'm screaming. I'm so excited. Jenny and I first bonded over our love of celebrity documentaries, I think with the Pamela Anderson one. I think that was the first one we talked about in 2023.
I think so. We might have said something like, oh, I really like Lady Gaga's documentary or something like that like kicked it off. And then we knew that we were the people to watch Pamela Anderson's documentary with, you know?
Yes, I think that's right. And so the fact that we're covering some of our favorites this month is so exciting.
Yay. It's like back to the beginning of our friendship. Love it. It's the beginning of an era.
Ugh.
I don't think that made sense, but I tried.
In this episode, we're talking about Taylor Swift, The End of an Era, the docuseries about the Eras Tour. And we're going to be covering our favorite parts of the series, what we wished they covered, and we're going to do a light recap of each episode.
I'm so excited. I feel like we've been talking about this for a long time, and we knew we were going to cover it.
I feel like we've been talking about the Eras Tour for like a decade at this point.
We started our podcast the summer of 2023 after we had both been to the Eras Tour, right?
Is that right?
Because we were like, it's the Barbie movie summer, it's the Eras Tour, it's like, it was very girlhood themed when we first started.
No, you're totally right. Yep.
That was fun, but that feels like forever ago now.
I know. We've had, so much has happened. You got engaged, you got married, I had a baby. We did this podcast. We've been doing it for 2.5 years. All since the Eras Tour started. It's crazy.
Over 100 episodes. I don't know what we're at, but it's high.
Yeah. But this feels like the perfect button to put on the end, you know? Like we're done. The tour has been over for over a year. And now we have this documentary. We have a lot of thoughts. We're going to talk about it. And then we can all move forward, you know?
And I just can't believe how long this tour actually was. And I'm so glad we got some insight into it. So it'll be fun to talk about it today.
First, quick reminder to leave us a rating and review wherever you're listening. It means so much to us, you guys. You have no idea. When you leave us reviews or comments or send us messages on Instagram, we talk about every single one. And it's so much fun. And one of the things we love doing is reading your reviews on the pod. So we're going to read some of the reviews that we got in December.
On our While You Were Sleeping episode, Joe said, Pamela Anderson's Please, I loved it, in reference to us asking what celeb documentary we should cover. And we just mentioned Pamela Anderson's documentary. You know it's important to us. So Joe, we've got you. Don't worry. It's coming. Next, Fortner Carly said, wait, please watch a Goofy movie for the podcast. I know you're both into documentaries, and there's one on Disney Plus about the making of a Goofy movie. Powerline stand forever. Happy New Year.
This comment was made for you.
I'm screaming. When I saw this, I was dying. Thank you, Carly. I appreciate you. And I'm glad that somebody else likes a Goofy movie just like me.
Similar note, but different. There is also a documentary on Disney Plus about the making of Frozen 2. Highly recommend.
I never saw Frozen 2, but I remember you saying it was really good, the documentary about it.
Yeah, I loved it.
I didn't know they had a documentary about the making of a Goofy movie, which just sounds crazy to me.
I'm surprised that they were filming the behind the scenes, or I guess maybe they went back and talked about the making of it.
Oh, I wonder if they drew it. Like frame by frame.
Probably. So then I feel like most documentaries now you're filming the behind the scenes while the thing is being made. But do you think the Goofy movie doc is like they went back and are like talking about what was done to make it?
I don't know. I know that we could easily Google this, but it's more fun to speculate. I think probably you're right because nobody knew a Goofy movie was going to be popular.
Right. We'll have to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
On our Four Christmases episode, Amy said, the Santa trigger warning made me laugh out loud.
Us too. On our Elf episode, Dr. Martin said, I adore Will Ferrell movies, and then gave us some recommendations of ones that we should cover. Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, and Anchorman, which I know both of those movies. They're so famous, but I haven't seen either one of them. So thank you for the recommendations, Dr. Martin.
On our winter watch list episode, Annie said, I love all the Grinches, but my kiddos love the Benedict one. It's just too cute. If you guys listen to that episode, you know the Benedict one is my favorite. So thank you for leaving this comment, Annie.
And then we got a comment from Carly who said, Team live action Grinch here. So we're still divided, but in a good way. This is the best thing to be divided over.
Okay, with that, let's get into Taylor Swift, The End of an Era.
Let's do it.
Quick logline / synopsis to kick us off. The End of an Era is a 6-episode behind-the-scenes docuseries event chronicling the development, impact, and inner workings that created the phenomenon that was Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour. The illuminating docuseries gives an intimate look at Taylor's life as her tour made headlines and thrilled fans around the world. In addition, the series spotlights performers, family members, and friends, including Gracie Abrams, Sabrina Carpenter, Ed Sheeran, and Florence Welch, offering never-before-seen insight into what it took to create a phenomenon.
And a phenomenon it was.
So true.
The Eras Tour was 21 months long, almost 2 whole years, which makes sense because by the end of it, I do remember thinking, man, how long could this thing really go?
Yeah. I was really surprised when she announced like the additional Americas shows, like when she came back and did more in the US and Canada at the end. I figured she was going to be done, but nope.
Totally. And it was 149 shows total. If you didn't know, each night was over 3 hours long of Taylor performing. And so really that's why it was so shocking that there was even more of the Eras Tour, because it was like, how can you do that? How can your body do that? I don't understand.
That was my main takeaway. And I feel like the thing that I heard the most people in person, like in my life, say about the show was just like, oh my gosh, she's in such good shape. Like we were all tired standing and like dancing for 3 hours, and she was running around the stage singing like at her best capacity. It was amazing. Like it really made me feel like she's such an athlete. Something interesting that I learned about this docuseries is that it was directed by a team. So there were 2 different directors. One of the directors' names is Don Argot, not sure how you say his last name. He also directed the documentary Kelsey, which is the documentary on Jason Kelsey's 2022 to 2023 season. The other co-director is Sheena M. Joyce, who co-directed with Don Argot on the home team, the New York Jets, which is a documentary about the New York Jets. I have mixed feelings on this docuseries in general. We're going to get into it. I love Taylor Swift, okay? Like she is my all-time favorite artist by far. I will take any scraps that she will give us as far as content relating to her personal life. Like, I love seeing the behind the scenes. I love seeing how her brain works. And I love that we got 6 episodes of that. But to me, this docuseries felt quite unorganized. It felt like we were jumping here, there, and everywhere, and there wasn't really a connected through line. It felt like we were getting a lot of little mini scenes and like mini stories throughout. And then when I found out that this was directed by 2 people who have mostly directed sports documentaries and were connected to the Kelseys, that made me go, First, when I saw it was 2 people, I went, I wonder if that's part of it. Because I wonder if they weren't necessarily directing as a team and they just kind of tackled different parts of different episodes or something. And that's why maybe it felt a little disjointed. And then when I saw that they both worked on football projects, I was like, I was expecting like the director of some of these other celeb docs that we love to have been involved. Like, I would have loved to see that. So that was interesting. And that made this make a little bit more sense to me.
She's Taylor Swift. She has the world at her disposal. She could get anybody to direct this. Also, we'll get into it later, but like, I assumed that she was filming a documentary the entire tour, and I'm kind of shocked that she wasn't.
Agree.
And then it was only the very like latter half of the tour that she was filming. That just seems weird to me because of how calculated Taylor is and how she would want to kind of have all that footage. And so then to like make this documentary happen and bring on this team because they know the Kelseys feels like a favor. Like it feels weird. It doesn't, you can't tell me that she was like, man, Jason Kelsey's documentary was so good. I need that person to do mine.
Right.
And why wasn't it a thought to do the documentary prior to the Kelseys being in her life, you know?
Yeah.
And I love Travis Kelce, don't get me wrong. But
Same. Love them, love their relationship. I'm so happy for them. And I do think this is a good docuseries. I'm not saying that it isn't good. It just like, I agree with everything you're saying.
Do you think there's like a missing okay, this is my headcanon.
Okay, great.
There's a missing documentary
this is
or
Jeni's karma theory.
Yeah, I'm clowning so hard. There's no way that she kicked off this tour that she knew would be absolutely insane and didn't have people who were working on a documentary with it. She didn't need to be interviewed during any of this. They could have waited until after the tour was over. It would have been no extra work on her part to have a team of people in the room with her some of the times and get this thing kicked off.
Yep.
What if the first half of her tour was just so sad with the breakups that she had, and there was so much turmoil that it was either canceled or scrapped in favor of something a little bit lighter once she started dating Travis?
You know, I've thought a lot about this. The only conclusion I can come to is like, because really no footage begins, none, until they were prepping to add the Tortured Poets department into the set. That is like the earliest peak. And that was also the footage that was in I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. I think it was that music video. That is the earliest thing that we see. And I completely agree with you. I cannot believe that she would set out on this tour and not have cameras following her. But to me, that it just like has to speak to her mental space at that time, because she and Joe announced their breakup not long after the Eras tour started. And so that makes me feel like they were either freshly broken up or there was like a lot of tumultuousness happening in that relationship. And then she jumps to the chaos hurricane of Maddie Healy. And then it's not until that breakup is done, she has processed, she has written and released an album, that then we start to see her, which is devastating in my opinion, because I just think this would have been so much more powerful if they made the entire story her personal journey through the Eras tour. You know?
Oh my gosh, because it was huge. She completely changed her life around.
Yeah, she went from like struggling in her personal life. We can hear it on Folklore, Evermore, and a lot of Midnights. And it doesn't even have to revolve around her relationship if she doesn't want to speak about it. But like we could see her upset, and we could see her saying that she wasn't doing well, or her struggling in her workouts. Like not even a lot of clips of that I think would have been really impactful. And then the chaotic whirlwind of Maddie Healy, and then she's down, and then we get the new album, and there's like such a good way to do that without even talking about either of those men. Like,
no,
because she was writing the Tortured Poets department. Like, I would have loved to see clips of those recording sessions and her like working through those emotions. And then to like see the Eras tour finish with her and Travis Kelce, knowing they're engaged now, like knowing that her story ended in this like beautiful way in her personal life. She bought her master's back. Like, she came out so triumphant in every area of her life that it's a bummer that we didn't really get to see her down.
It's actually crazy to me that that's not the story of this docuseries. Because that is an incredible story. All of it. Yeah, like ending with her talking about how much the Masters meant to her and getting them back. And she loves talking about that. So she, that's not super personal. She could just do that. Maybe there's another one. Okay, I'm clowning again. Maybe there's another one that is going to be more like Miss Americana, less. This was all about like the making of the Eras tour, really. Yeah, is what it was. Yeah, I wanted to see. Okay, anyway, we should maybe move on to things we loved first, and then we can
give our notes.
More criticism.
Okay, I loved learning about her dancers in her band.
Same.
Loved. I love all of them. I want to see more of them. I like want to go find them all on TikTok. I haven't yet, but I hope that they're all active. I like can't wait to see them more. It like breaks my heart a little bit that we didn't see this like at the beginning of the tour. Not that we could have, obviously, but I wish I knew who I was watching then, because I think that would have been so special. Or maybe if they had a way to tie this into the Eras tour movie. Again, that would be like none of that works timing wise, but like I wish I knew how special these people were. And it really makes me want to go back and watch The Fate of Ophelia behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because that showed a lot of her, at least her dancers. So
yeah, I feel like we knew like a couple of them, but it was like later in the tour that people started to dig into who they were, I think.
Which the only one I really knew just from like being on TikTok was Cam.
Same. And Jan.
Mm.
Jan has a really great smile, so I always noticed him. Yeah, I thought that was really nice too. And also they just seem like a great, very talented, very dedicated group of people.
Yeah. I loved seeing a peek at her and Travis. I love how much that she was like willing to share of Travis, given how reluctant she has been in the past and what we just said about her not speaking really more than 2 words about her previous relationships, even though they were such a big part of her personal life on this tour. So that made me happy. Like, I loved getting the story about how she and Travis got together, how much her mom loves him, her bonding with her dad about football because of it. It just was great. I really liked that we got to see that like little peek into their relationship.
Me too. It was great.
Really, my main takeaway from the entire thing is just like how extra she is. Like how every single thing she does is so much more than what is necessary or required, and nobody is forcing her to do it. Like, it just made me laugh so hard, especially when we were watching her just force Florence to do all this choreography.
And adding more choreography halfway through the show because you also decided to come out with a breakup album.
Yeah. And she's like, we're reworking the whole thing. We're just going to relearn it. We're going to do it. And she just pushes and pushes and pushes. And that is why she is so good. I really think that. But it is also insane to just say, like, I'm going to put in all of this extra, really intense work and effort, and I know it will be worth it. And then it is.
I think it goes to show how good of a leader she is, too.
Mm.
Just all of the little decisions that she was making, like the decisions on the dancers being diverse and like little things that she would do. They had that like cheer that they would do before they went out. They had all these like little bonding experiences together. And I don't know, I just felt like, wow, all of those decisions that she made were really good and made everybody like excited to support her, you know, because they felt seen by her.
Totally.
I thought that this docuseries did a really good job of capturing what it felt like and what it meant to be a fan at the show. Like, they showed the fans a lot. They showed them crying. They showed them getting emotional. They kind of like talked about why that would be emotional for somebody. And also just the girlhood of it all. Like, that was the summer of girlhood when we went to the Eras tour. I know it lasted for 2 years, but everyone was so nice and accepting of each other there. And I remember it being the safest I have ever felt around that many people that I didn't know. And it's probably the safest I ever will feel. Like, I can't imagine going to any like sporting event and feeling that safe, any other concert and feeling that safe and like included.
It was very magical.
Yes. So I think it did a good job of showing that for people who weren't able to attend the tour.
Any other notes that you have for the docuseries before we get into just sort of like our thoughts on each episode?
Yeah, I think overall, I was expecting, like I said, a Miss Americana vibe where she talked about what she like really went through during the first half of the tour, even if they weren't filming at that point. Even if she didn't go that deep into it, I just felt like it was breezed through. And I just felt like she was kind of guarded. And I got to know her crew better than I got to know her thoughts about things. And though I liked seeing a little bit into how Taylor made it happen and how she like got into shape for it and how she prepared for it, I wanted more of that. Like, if we're not going to go the emotional route and we are solely talking about the Eras tour and what a phenomenon it is, show me how much work went into it.
Agree.
I got a broad sense, but I didn't really see like the hours of work that went into it, and then like everyone stressed out about, oh gosh, we're adding all this new choreography, how am I going to remember it? And I didn't really get that.
Agree. I totally agree. Like, I would have loved if the whole first episode was like, let's talk about the production design and let's get the set designers out here. I want to like talk to the costume designers. Like, I want to talk about how much the stage cost. I want to talk about like how many trucks it took to move it from city to city, how she made all of those decisions, how they decided on the merch. Like, I wanted so much more of her workout regimen too. Like, I want to see her doing the thing that she always says that she did, where she's yelling the lyrics while she's running on a treadmill. Like, we got like one scene of her and her trainer, and that was cool, but I would have loved the like entire thought process from start to finish of the whole tour.
Yeah, same. Oh, that would have been so good. Yeah, You don't even have to get emotional. Tell us about the trucks.
Yes, exactly.
Interview a truck driver.
Yes.
What is he doing?
Or even just say, like, if we just, there's a way I feel like that she could have given an inch without actually talking about either of her breakups, where she just could have been like, I was going through a really hard time. I was flying to record with Jack, and then I was making this decision about the merch, whatever. Like, I just would have loved to see her full emotional arc as if it was one big movie. And we really missed that. I really, really felt like every 10 minutes we switched stories where it would be like, we're with Amanda talking about the choreography, and then we're with Taylor and her mom and dad in her dressing room, and then we're with Andrea walking through the crowds. And it was just like bloop, 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 like little vignettes, which, like, again, was great. But I just was really, I think there was a way even to have reorganized the footage that they already had and added a little bit more in voiceover. And I agree, some more footage talking about the prep of the tour, I think would have been really, really impactful.
I agree.
This really, like, the fact that she used directors that worked with the Kelseys really just makes me wonder, like, was there not a plan to do a docuseries? Was there never going to be a plan to do a documentary? Because I believe her deal with Disney Plus was to do 3 projects. She did the Long Pond studio sessions, the Eras Tour movie, and then now this docuseries. So I just have to imagine that this was always going to be a plan. But for her to have not chosen the director until presumably she and Travis were together and relatively serious, or like in an official relationship, would have been at least halfway through the tour. So it's like, did they meet? She got this recommendation and then bam, they started filming?
I'm going to clown again. I think what happened is they were doing a documentary of some kind. It was sad, not the vibe. Maybe it was all about like the stress and like how hard the Eras Tour was. And maybe they didn't want that to be the legacy of the Eras Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted it to be more positive. That could have been like a Disney thing. That could have been a her thing. And I think they scrapped it. And although I swear her lawyers would have this in the contract somehow, but maybe they didn't use any of that old footage because they couldn't anymore because they switched directors and they started over from scratch. But actually, now that I think about it, there's no way that her lawyers would have a contract where any of that footage would belong to anyone but her, I feel like.
Right. Or like, could she have like paid to get the footage once she started, like, maybe she either had a film crew booked or not. Either way, she canceled it because she was like so down in the dumps at the beginning of the tour, and then halfway through she hired the film crew and then decided on a director later, and maybe that's why it feels kind of choppy, because maybe they were just like shoehorning interviews back in throughout to like try to make it a coherent story. And you know, maybe the directors are fine. They were just given not great material. I don't know.
Now that you say it, I'm like, in what world would a sad girl who's going through the hardest time ever want cameras in her face?
Right.
So she probably was just like, no, like, don't even. We'll do that later.
Which I think speaks to her emotional state so much, because she's our capitalist queen. Like, she would know that this documentary was going to crush and that she probably owed something to Disney. So if it wasn't going to be this, she was going to have to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And for her to like just be like, nope, I can't deal with it right now for a year, the first year or so of the tour, is like, really, it says a lot, I think. I just wish that we got like, I'm thinking of like the Katy Perry documentary.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Whoa, she has taken a turn in like the public opinion since that documentary came out. But when that documentary came out, I was like, oh, maybe I'm a fan of hers.
Agree. But she showed, like, I want to say Russell Brand filed for divorce and she found out while they were filming or something like that. Because there are scenes of her like crying backstage and then having to like get it together to like be a performer.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that would have been so impactful in this.
Ugh.
And like, okay, we're going to get into it right now when we get into the first episode. But we start the docuseries in a very, very dark place.
Yes.
In episode 1. And I think that absolutely belongs in this docuseries, obviously. It is just interesting to me that she would get so emotional right at the jump, at the very beginning of the docuseries, but it's about this like tragedy happening to her fans, and then we don't touch on her personal emotions really for a long time, or really at all, in a negative way.
Really not.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me. Interesting. Maybe she just doesn't want to give the men the satisfaction. She just wants to be like, I am thrilled, I am happy, I am moved on, I am engaged, I don't think about you ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shall we get into episode 1?
Let's do it. I think it's time.
Episode 1 is called Welcome to the Eras Tour. We're going to read just a really short synopsis of each episode. These are just pulled from Wikipedia. I think they actually did a pretty good job of summarizing these quickly, so this will help jog your memory about each one.
In episode 1, Swift gives her band and dancers an emotional pep talk before the final show of the Eras Tour. She and her team delve into the early development and planning of the tour and its outcomes and cultural impact. Swift grapples with the aftermath of a foiled terror attack in Vienna and a deadly stabbing at a Swift-themed dance class in Liverpool. She and Ed Sheeran practice and perform a surprise medley in London. This episode, just so that you can like place it in a timeline, this took place in August 2024, what they were filming. And the documentary was actually supposed to start filming at her Vienna show before that show was canceled because of the terror attack that was supposed to happen there.
I'm so glad that you talked about this. And I think this was a really good reminder for me as someone who wishes that she spoke out more politically, that it is really hard for her to do that, especially while she's touring, because it puts a lot of people in danger, which is not what these terror attacks were about at all. But it was just a good reminder for me, because I know leading up to the election, I was really hopeful that she was going to speak out a lot more. And this was a really good reminder of one of the reasons why she maybe didn't.
Thank you for saying that, actually, because I did make a note, and we'll talk about it later on, about my disappointment in that.
Mm-hmm.
And that does make sense that like anything she says, like these huge stadiums of like 100,000 fans, like all of those lives are in her hands. And it's sad that we live in a world like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the Eras Tour is over, though, I would like her to speak up more.
Agree. And I think that this docuseries would have been a really good place for her to have said, like, while all this was happening in my personal life, our country was going through a very impactful election cycle, and I felt like my hands were tied because of this type of behavior or something, or even not say that, but to just like mention it would have been appreciated by me.
I think so too. And I felt like, I don't know, this episode was interesting because I feel like this was a really important thing for them to bring up, and they needed to talk about these two terrible things that happened on the Eras Tour. But it was almost like, okay, the emotions with those are over with. Now we're moving on and like not talking about it again. And that felt kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was just structurally weird.
I think it was structurally weird. Agree. Because it really did emotionally impact me to see her bawling and distraught after talking to the families of the children that died.
Mm-hmm.
And then for her to have to get it together to go on stage really moved me, like to see her go through this. And I was sitting there going, she can't go on stage. They're going to have to delay the show. Like, but then she gets it together. And then by the end of that night, she's like, I love what I do and it's worth it. And that made me go like, oh, this is how she does it. Like, this is how she does it. She gets through all of the hard shit that she goes through by doing her job. And it's just like meant for her. And that was really impactful for me to see. It was really strange to have that be the first thing in the docuseries, personally. Agreed. To like hit us with a really difficult tragedy. And I think one of the reasons why it felt weird is because we did not stay chronological the whole time. Because I think the reason that they put this in the first episode is because they were supposed to start filming at the Vienna show. That was canceled. And so then they started filming in London. And London is where the other like horrific stabbing happened. And so chronologically, those things happened at the beginning of filming. But for us as the audience, we are going into this thinking, you know, not knowing any better, that this docuseries is covering the entire tour from start to finish. Mm-hmm. So for us to jump in halfway through the tour when these horrible things happened was a little bit jarring. But I am glad that they covered it. So I don't know.
Yeah, me too. Wait, when did the tour end? Didn't the tour end in like October or November 2024?
I want to say December.
Okay. Was this only like 4 or 5 months of filming?
Yeah.
out of 21.
Yeah, it was the very last leg.
That's why it feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone was already like, muscle memory was just like a thing. Like they were going through the motions.
Which, when did Tortured Poets come out? Let me see.
April 2024, I think.
Okay, so this is interesting because there are clips of them practicing the choreography for Tortured Poets before that album came out.
Mm-hmm.
So that is much earlier than, like, quote unquote, when the crews showed up in London. So there was somebody filming. Now, were they just filming for I Can Do It With a Broken Heart for that music video? Is that the whole reason that they have the clips of the choreography?
Maybe.
Because that music video was sort of a docu-style of the Eras tour, and then they just reused like the longer pieces of that footage in this, maybe. But then in that case, who was filming that? Why didn't that filming crew stay? I don't understand.
You're onto something here, Megan.
I don't like it. Maybe you're right. Maybe they were filming the whole time and she had them cut it.
What if Disney had them cut? Well, when you said something about politics getting involved and how, like, in the docuseries she could have said something, I'm wondering if, like, Disney didn't want her to.
Maybe. That's definitely possible. Yeah, that's definitely possible.
I don't know.
Taylor Swift is this really interesting figure because she does things like the Miss Americana documentary and a lot of the Lover album promotion where she's very outspoken in favor of LGBTQ rights. And in the Miss Americana documentary, she says that she wants to be the resident loud person speaking on behalf of women and the LGBTQ plus community. And then she has this extremely diverse group of dancers. And all of that is wonderful. And I think it's very clear to her fans how she feels politically, I think. But also, she is seen as the sort of like all-American girl who doesn't ruffle feathers, who everyone likes, who is likable by everyone. You know what I mean? So I could see Disney applying that treatment to her, so that would not surprise me.
Yeah, I think it's just so interesting after she, like, came out and said, no, I don't want to hide this part of me anymore. It's too important.
Yeah.
But I will say that this episode did show me how, like, absolutely terrifying it would be to feel like you are responsible for this stadium of lives.
Yeah.
And even the other attack that happened in Liverpool, that wasn't even at.
No, that was a kid's dance class.
It was something that was so, like, innocent.
Yeah.
And just related to Taylor Swift. And so that must be so much weight to carry.
The last thing I'll say about this episode is I loved seeing Ed. They're like best friends in real life. I've listened to interviews with him that are fairly recent where he has talked about how Taylor comes to his house a lot and she and his wife are friends. And I just think that's very sweet.
He seems so down to earth and nice.
Agree.
I like that.
I don't know if you follow Maisie Peters on TikTok, but she opened for Ed on his last tour and it was very cute. All their videos together.
I like that.
Okay, let's talk about episode 2, Magic in the Eras.
In this one, Taylor Swift and the crew integrate the Tortured Poets department into the Eras tour, learning the reworked set list and choreography before the Paris shows. Associate choreographer Amanda Balin and dancer Cameron Saunders discuss overcoming personal struggles. Taylor surprises the crew with bonuses and rehearses with Florence Welch for the performance of Florida in London. Ooh, I just said Florida like
Florida.
they do in the song. Florida.
I loved learning about Amanda and Cam. I mean, like I said, I knew a little bit about Cam before just from like TikTok and everybody just falling in love with him, rightfully so. But I loved learning about Amanda and I really loved learning about her role in the Eras tour, like going back to we're just like nerds about behind the scenes stuff. I loved hearing that she was Taylor's stand-in. So she learned all of Taylor's choreography so that if Taylor had questions or wanted to visually see everything, Amanda was her. That makes so much sense that there would be that person. I just never thought about that before. And then the fact that Taylor said that she wanted Amanda to dance with them even though she was retired. And then this was her last hurrah before she actually retired, I think is so cool.
And what a great last hurrah that is. Can you imagine?
No, it's amazing.
Oh, and I liked that Mandy Moore was the choreographer, and Mandy Moore had worked with Emma Stone before, and Taylor is friends with Emma Stone. And when she was asking for a choreographer, Emma was like, oh, I got you. That was cute.
Yeah. And Mandy Moore also choreographed the Fate of Ophelia music video. So she was in the behind the scenes clips that they showed in theaters about the Fate of Ophelia, which I'm wondering now if you can see that. If that's out now. Like, she released the Fate of Ophelia music video plus behind the scenes in theaters.
Oh, I never saw that, yeah.
Because it featured all these people. Because she had all the people in that music video were all of her dancers from the tour.
See, now it would actually probably matter to me because now I know all of them.
I know.
And I love them. We learned more about Cam, who I didn't know that I think I did know, but it was like in the back of my mind that his brother is the NFL player Colin Saunders. When dancers were being cast for the tour, it was a secret who the tour was for. And Cam said that he had no money in his account, but he had this strong pull to audition. And Colin bought him a plane ticket to get him to the audition, which I thought was so sweet.
So sweet. To see that example of somebody who was previously a dance teacher who didn't have enough money for the plane ticket, who then goes on to get paid these bonuses and become so beloved by all of her fans and becomes such a central part of the dancers on the tour is just so special. So it was so cool to hear that.
Especially when he mentioned that he didn't feel very accepted in the industry because of his body. I really liked that we learned that Taylor specified that she wasn't aiming for a specific gender or an aesthetic like most other artists do, because they want their dancers to look uniform. They want to keep the attention on them, not on their dancers. They don't want to drive the eye away. But instead, Taylor wanted each of her dancers to shine and to be as diverse as the audience so that people could see themselves on stage. And I thought that was really special. And you can feel that that's what's different about the Eras Tour when you watch it, even if you're just watching the Disney Plus video of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The energy feels different because it's like all of these characters on stage that we're loving and enjoying watching, not just Taylor.
Everybody looks like they're having so much fun, and they don't just look like backup dancers. That's they look like they're all doing it together, which is so cool. And this tour is such a good example of how doing the right thing is also great PR. It's also a great business decision. Having all these people on the stage and empowering them to be themselves and encouraging them to participate in dances and whatever that they're excited about and to look like themselves and feel empowered to look like themselves is also why people love the dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And also why the dancers are getting so much attention. And also part of why this docuseries is doing well. And it's the same thing as her giving these incredible bonuses to people on the tour, where it's that is a good thing to do. Giving those people some of the money that came from the tour is so important and kind, and I know not a lot of artists do that. And it is also good PR for her and for the tour and for the docuseries. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just see businesses doing shitty stuff, and I'm just do the right thing, and it is also good for business.
Literally.
It's crazy. Anyway.
That reminded me of, you used that company Bobby before, right?
Yes. The formula brand?
Yeah, the formula brand. There was a post that someone made, and they were like, when I canceled my Bobby subscription, I got a congratulations message that was congrats on graduating. And they're so happy for you for canceling your subscription because now you don't need the formula anymore. And they know that you're going to tell all your friends about it.
Mm-hmm.
They know that you're going to have loyalty to the brand. And if you have another kid, you might use their formula again. You probably will.
Mm-hmm. Instead of making it hard to cancel because they're hoping you forget about it, and then they send you another month or two of formula that's just going to go to waste. Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's so important.
Agree.
Also, the bonuses.
Oof. I can't remember what I thought he was saying because they bleeped it out. I feel like it was $650K.
It sounded like that.
For each dancer. And this was, I think, for one leg of the tour. My jaw was on the floor because I heard about I think it was 100,000 or 200,000 that she gave to the truck drivers. Whenever that happened,
Yes.
I remember seeing an article about it. This I didn't know, and this was amazing. And it made me so happy for them.
I'm so curious, if this was the only time. I'm sure here and there they got smaller bonuses that were maybe not like this. But that's crazy, and that's so nice. And life-changing for so many of them. Cam starting off with $0.
100%. And they're getting paid to be on tour. I'm assuming that this shows that she probably pays everybody very well.
She better.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, now let's talk about episode 3, Kismet.
In this episode, Taylor Swift's mother, Andrea, reminisces on her daughter's childhood. Taylor and the whole crew take a break after the European leg of the tour, and her stylist, Joseph Castle, experiments with some new costumes. Backup singer Jesslyn Gorman discusses her breast cancer diagnosis that she had during the tour and her treatment. Taylor recounts her ordeal with the stage management, the rigorous workout regimen, and the impact of harsh weather. The band, dancers, and backup singers talk about how they feel like family, and they all regroup, rehearse, and resume the tour in Miami.
Okay, first things first, we meet Taylor Swift's stylist, who my sister, when we saw him, referred to as the most hated man in America.
Is that her stylist like all the time?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. And she mentioned that they've been together since the very beginning of her career, I think her very first album.
That's right.
And I was watching this with my sister Hannah, and she was just like, we were talking about how, like, it's great that she's loyal. That is fabulous. She's worked with so many people for so long. But this one, we could let go. This man, we can find a new one, you know?
Every paparazzi photo of her, the comments are, fire your stylist.
I know. I'm like, the fact that she put him on in the, she must know that. So I'm like, the fact that you put this man's face in this docuseries, like, he's for sure being hunted.
Okay. What is so beautiful, though, is that because he's been with her through all of her eras, he was able to kind of perfectly capture each of her eras in the costumes on the Eras tour, which I did like. I liked all of those costumes a lot.
Agree. I actually agree. I really, really liked most of the costumes.
Also, there's like that moment. This is like the first one. My sister said that this episode is like one where we got to see her diva come out a little bit. I think that's what she said.
Yeah, that's true.
Because she's annoyed at this I think it's this episode. She's annoyed at her Reputation costume doesn't fit.
Yes, the new bodysuit that she was like banking on.
Which would be annoying and would be like, oh my gosh, I can't wear this. What am I going to do? I don't know if it was just me projecting onto Taylor what I would feel, but I was like, I kind of think she's holding back for the cameras and that she would be a little bit more, like, I think she has more to say here that she's annoyed about.
I think you're right. I think she was hoping that it was going to be this big reveal because she knows how much the fans love new costumes. So the fact that you were going to get the behind the scenes of that, and then I'm sure she felt like this is a disaster.
Yeah, the way that her stylist made eye contact with this other girl that he was working with when she started being upset about it, I was like, oh, there's more here. They have history of this.
Yeah, which, as we were saying earlier, maybe a lot of the early footage of the tour is that.
Like
her just being mad at people. Yeah.
Maybe.
Being like, you're fucking up the choreography. This is not going right. This is going bad, because she's just in a really bad mental headspace. And like, that is not Taylor Swift the brand.
No. Interesting idea. I loved hearing Jesslyn's story and how she went through treatment. Like, she got diagnosed really shortly into the Eras tour, went through treatment for like 6 months, and then asked how fast she could get back to touring, and then was there.
Yeah.
That must be so hard.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I loved that that she was willing to share her story. It was really cool.
I love that they let her come back too after taking that break. It must be so hard to have like worked your whole life for this and be so excited about this opportunity and then feel like it's ripped away and your life is at stake and your health. And yeah,
it's a lot.
I thought she was very brave.
Agree. I also loved she told a story in one of their sort of group huddles before one of the shows about how she went to one of Taylor's birthday parties, and Taylor introduced her to all of her friends as, hi, this is Jesslyn, we sing together. And Taylor was like, that is quite literally what we do. But Jesslyn, you know, you could tell was like inferring like, but I'm your backup singer. Like, most people wouldn't say that. I thought that was very sweet.
I did too. That was meaningful.
Okay, let's talk about episode 4, Thank You for the Lovely Bouquet.
In this one, Taylor creates and records the Tortured Poets department in the middle of the tour. See, this is what we're saying about it being out of order. It's like they're rehearsing the Tortured Poets department, and then, oh wait, all of a sudden she's like recording it. Okay.
Yeah.
She talks about meeting her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, and her newfound interest in American football. Kelsey joins her on stage for a skit as part of the tour. And then Taylor surprises the crowd with a performance with Sabrina Carpenter. And my favorite part, dancer Wiley Yoshimura reflects on his identity after given the opportunity to perform Ready for It. The Eras Tour visits its last U.S. stops, New Orleans and Indianapolis.
I loved this episode. I loved that this was also like, I feel like this was the Travis episode.
Yes.
First of all, like first and foremost, we hear about Andrea talking about Travis, how much she loves Travis, how she encouraged Taylor to get with Travis because she said she needs to try something else because what she's doing isn't working.
This was so funny, all of it.
I know. And then we also got Sabrina and Wiley. Like, this is such a fun ep.
I just thought it was so funny how obsessed her mom is with Travis.
I know. I feel like her whole family must be so relieved. Like, they're going from, no offense to any Joe or Maddie Healy stans out there, like, they're going from, like, whiny artsy boy who, like, gets upset that she's more famous to, like, Travis, who seems, obviously this is all just from, like, far away, my opinion, but, like, Travis just seems so happy-go-lucky and bubbly and is not intimidated by her fame at all.
At all.
It must be so refreshing for them.
He's excited for her fame and he thinks she's amazing and he wants that for her.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to show the world that he's dating her too. He's very proud.
Yeah.
They're like not keeping their relationship that much of a secret. For the listeners, I'll give a little recap if you're interested how they met. Travis said on his podcast that he went to the Eras Tour and was upset that he couldn't meet Taylor and give her the friendship bracelet that he made her that had his phone number on it. I think most of us know that part of the story. Andrea, Taylor's mom, saw this and thought it was really sweet. I think she also thought Travis was cute.
Yeah.
I think she was like, ooh, this is a cute boy who's interested in my daughter. So she called up her cousin, who she says is a resident Chiefs expert. And she said, so tell me about this Travis Kelsey. And her cousin said that he's the nicest guy and he loves his mom. And Andrea said, ding, ding, ding. Now, how in the world am I going to get Taylor to meet him?
So cute.
It was so cute. He just seems like he's such a yes guy, too. Like, performing on stage with Taylor. And I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's intimidated by anything. And he seems like a natural in front of people.
Yeah.
Taylor said about Travis, it's shocking how many similarities we have towards our jobs and how we view them and how we view each other. We both have jobs where we go out in NFL stadiums and entertain people for 3.5 hours. His with considerably more violence than mine, but he's not in heels. But it's our passion. We've been chasing this since we were little kids. So I don't think I ever thought I'd meet a guy who had that same trajectory. And I've realized that with this person in my life, that just was the right fit for me. You can have the two passions coexist and they actually fuel each other. Ultimately, we love cheering each other on. And I thought that was such a great insight. And I know people like roll their eyes when they think, oh, Taylor Swift is like an athlete. Her job and Travis Kelce's job are not the same. But I actually 100% agree that they are the same. Actually, I think Taylor's is maybe like more hardcore than Travis's, except she's not like running into a 300-pound man and getting a concussion. But I like that for her. I like that she has this like person who deeply understands what she's doing and is doing the same thing. And then when they have time, they go and cheer the other person on.
Yep.
It's great.
I totally agree. And I think it must be so nice for her to have somebody that is removed from her industry, because then she can truly just be a fan of his and he can truly be a fan of hers without totally understanding the business side of it. You know, I think that's really nice.
Didn't Joe write songs with her?
Yep.
See, that must be so difficult.
Yeah.
To like be enmeshed like that.
Or even just like he was trying to become an actor and he's obviously a successful actor, but I would not say that he like broke into the mainstream like it guys, you know, whereas she is the best. So to have somebody that is less successful in entertainment be with the most successful person arguably in entertainment in the world, that must be a really difficult dynamic, not only financially, but time commitment wise. And like, yeah, I'm just sure that was hard.
Can I say something so mean?
Yes, of course.
If Joe had just been okay with their relationship being public, he would be on another level acting. He would be in everything.
Oh, totally.
Because just think about how like successful Travis's podcast is now. I'm sure it was already successful to begin with, Now everybody knows him
Mm-hmm.
as a football player, even people who don't care about sports at all.
Because Travis just sees it as a positive. He's just like, okay, great. All these people that are her fans want to support me. I will entertain them.
Yes.
They like added a segment to the podcast that's called No Dumb Questions, I think, where listeners can just like ask stupid questions about football. Because he just decided to include them. And that's so
That's
cool.
smart.
Yeah.
I
As I
love
feel like
that.
Joe was kind of just high on his art, you know?
Yeah. And like, I get it. Maybe there's a part of you who's like, I don't want to succeed because of who I'm dating. I want it to be on my own merit. But I'm just saying, like, he wouldn't have had such an ego problem, I think. I know nothing about this guy, but I'm like, he had such an ego. He was so threatened by her.
It's how it
but
comes
I really
across.
feel like he was.
Like, even if that's not true, that's definitely how it comes across. I mean, she wrote Bejeweled, for God's sake.
I think he hid her away for
Yeah.
a few years.
Lost in the basement. Trapped.
Ugh. Anyway.
Wiley. We must talk about Wiley.
Love Wiley. Wiley is one of the dancers, and his dream was to dance in Ready for It, which had previously only been performed by female dancers. And he was always told in dancing that he was not masculine enough and he danced too femininely or flipped his hair too much because he has really long hair. And then he tried on Amanda Balin's Ready for It costume, and when it fit, he was given the chance to take her place and perform it, which was so cool. And what he said about Taylor agreeing to him being in it, which, by the way, first, Taylor was just like, when they were like, can Wiley be in this? She was like, what do you mean?
She was like the meme of that girl with like the math spinning around her head, where she was like, Wiley and Ready for It. Could not compute.
Could not compute. And I almost got the sense that it was like, why are you trying to change things? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's the problem here? Like, she's like in solve it mode. And then like she saw, oh, he really wants this. And like, look, here's a video of him dancing to it. And then she was like, okay, I'm in. Yeah, sounds great. He said, I was so honored that she would be down, that she even trusted me to step in so last minute like that. But I'm even more honored that I get to share the stage with someone who sees me. And not only sees me, but she celebrates me. It's not really that often where a male dancer can do a female swinging part and even be allowed to flourish as much as he wants in that part. I want to be that example for anyone, any person, male, female, non-binary. I want them to feel seen just like how I felt seen by Taylor.
I love him.
So meaningful.
This episode made me such a big fan of his.
It really did. Also, sorry if you all can hear my dog is snoring so loudly, and I've already tried to wake her up, and it worked for like 2 seconds, but she's back to snoring.
She's just napping.
I just don't have the heart to wake her up again. So if you hear little dog snores, it's just my dog. There was this Taylor quote that I really liked in this episode because she briefly talks about her 2 breakups, but she doesn't mention them by name, like we said. She said, there were never points in the tour when I thought, oh, you know what? I want to quit the tour because the tour is hard. No, my personal life was hard. The show was what gave me purpose and was what I could use to get me out of bed. The tour has never been the hard thing in my life. The tour has been the thing that has allowed me to find purpose outside of the shit that was going wrong in my life. And I really liked that quote. I thought that was really inspiring and kind of like touches on what you said earlier about just how much she loves what she does and how that like fuels her.
Totally.
We talked a little bit about Taylor's political avoidance throughout this whole thing and maybe the reasons for it. Interestingly, there's one political call out in the docuseries. Taylor says she hopes she could provide people an escape during the 2024 presidential election in the US. And that to me felt kind of weird, being like, there's all this turmoil happening in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I can be an escape. And it was an escape. I'm not saying she's wrong there, but it just felt kind of strange and also maybe out of place in the episode. Like maybe I wouldn't have mentioned it at all, to be honest.
Agree. I think she probably would have been better off not saying anything. But honestly, I have so many questions about this. Her just lack of political involvement after Miss Americana. And I wonder if there have been more conversations that we are not privy to. Like, I know I'm just like dying to give her the benefit of the doubt for some reason. I'm just like, maybe they wouldn't let her. Maybe her label or her parents or her, I don't even know, Disney said not to. But I don't like it. Like,
No.
This would have been a really important time to speak out with your opinions. And she did endorse Kamala, which I appreciated, but I think I've said this in other episodes, but I just think if you're going to come out on a national stage in Miss Americana, in your own documentary that you produced on Netflix that you know is going to be huge, and say that you want to be the resident loud person and that it is important for you from now on to get involved in important political elections and then never speak about it again, you look like you only said it to sell an album.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And maybe she did, and maybe I just don't want to believe that. But it really makes me upset whenever I think about it too long.
Yeah.
Like almost to the point where I'm like, I can't be a fan of hers really anymore. But alas, I will be her fan probably until I die. Okay, let's get into episode 5, Marjorie. In this episode, the Eras Tour heads to Toronto, which is Amanda Balin's hometown. Andrea Swift also draws parallels between her daughter and her late mother, Marjorie. We see Amanda and Taylor emphasize the importance of family while pursuing their dreams. We kind of get a peek into Amanda's background growing up as a dancer. The crew also reflects on their personal losses, including the backup singer Camilla's late mother. We see Taylor perform Marjorie, and she gets emotional. And then we also see Gracie Abrams, and she talks about looking up to Taylor, and they do a mashup of their song Us and Out of the Woods. And we also see a little behind the scenes of Taylor recording The Life of a Showgirl in Sweden.
Loved it.
Me too. I loved hearing the full story behind Marjorie. I loved hearing that Andrea feels like it's been kind of like her life mission to shepherd these women, like these musical people through life, because she watched her mom be an opera singer growing up. And she mentioned a lot of parallels between her mom and Taylor and how they just had this need, this deep need to perform and to sing. I thought that was really sweet. And it occurred to me that I had never thought about the fact that Andrea is watching Taylor sing this song every night about her mom.
Ugh. Can you imagine?
No. I could obviously see Taylor get emotional because it's her grandma, and it never occurred to me Andrea is hearing this really emotional song about her mom that's passed away. That's really special and also really hard.
Totally. And the whole crew, they all cry to this song because they all kind of insert their own loss into the lyrics, and you can tell it's meaningful for everyone. I was feeling emotional during it. I never knew the story of Marjorie. I just knew that that was her grandmother, and I never really listened to the lyrics, but it was really powerful.
I think she says at one point she makes eye contact with Camilla during the song every night because Camilla lost her mom the year before, I think. And that was very sweet. I think we see Taylor cry in this episode of the docuseries behind the scenes after the show. I think she was talking to her mom because Camilla had given a speech before the show about her mom. And Taylor was like, I know that we always look at each other during that, but it just really stuck with me what she had said about losing her mom. I thought that was so sweet. And I know Taylor has been through a lot with her mom. Her mom had cancer and went through treatment. And I'm sure she also feels emotional hearing Camilla's story because of that. And we also in this episode see the mashup that Taylor does between Best Day, Ronin, and Never Grow Up that her mom, Andrea, requested. I died at this.
We were so robbed going to the tour so early and not getting to hear all the mashups that happened once Taylor started getting really bored and knew all of her marks really well. And then could just mash up stuff.
I know. I'm trying to remember what my songs were. I think they were Timeless and Our Song.
Oh, really? Our Song was mine too. So I don't know if she did that twice, but I know she did that at the LA show because they put that one on the Eras Tour movie. And I was like, that was my night for sure.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Picture to Burn. I don't know. It was something from
It was
debut.
Wait, I think yours was Picture to Burn.
Okay.
Because I'm remembering. We have an episode on it, so if anyone wants to go listen to it.
True.
We covered that. I think that was our 13th episode ever, which is very special to Taylor.
That's very appropriate. I didn't realize that.
Yes, and we covered we went in theaters to see the Eras Tour movie, and then we talked about it because we had to. So fun. This is the episode where Taylor's mashups just get so complicated and unhinged to the point where Gracie Abrams is like, I don't know how she does it. And I like that they kind of showed off her knack for doing that and for mixing songs up together. It was cool. And it seemed like she didn't have that much time to practice them or to even come up with it. I don't know if that was just the editing.
It seemed like she decides at some point during the day and then practices it twice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Couldn't be me.
No. You could even see her mom was like, I don't know how she does it. Oh my gosh, I don't think we mentioned this, but at some point in the docuseries, Taylor talks about what she does after every show.
Yeah.
She goes back to her hotel and she says it takes her hours to like come down off of the high of performing. And so I think she said she takes a bath and signs a box of 2,000 CDs or something.
And watches TV and then goes to sleep whenever she gets tired, which is usually 4 a.m.
Crazy.
So, like, you're telling me that every night she would fall asleep at 4 a.m., wake up at what time to be ready for the Eras Tour, which starts at, what time was that, like 7 or 8?
Yeah.
Maybe she woke up at 4 p.m. She could.
Yeah.
She could do that.
She could.
Okay, last, we have episode 6 called Remember This Moment.
We see the last stop of the Eras Tour, Vancouver. Taylor, her family, and the crew are all, you can tell, struck with a lot of happiness and sadness. There's a lot of mixed feelings about the tour ending. And they talk about how the tour altered their lives. And Taylor also explains the 22 hat tradition. And she rehearses and performs a mashup of Long Live, New Year's Day, and the manuscript.
I didn't realize that the reason why she did the 22 hat tradition is because she no longer can have meet and greets before and after the show.
I didn't either.
And so, like, it was her moment every night to connect with, like, one young fan. I thought that was sweet.
Agree. Very sweet.
And also probably helps her keep going. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because it would be hard to just be performing every night and not get to meet any of the fans, I think. Although it would also be hard to be performing for that long every night and then have to meet the fans or beforehand.
Totally.
It's good she didn't.
It's good she didn't, yeah.
Before her last show, Taylor is watching the Chiefs game and she's so into it. And we learn that she and her dad can now bond over football, and it's so cute.
We also see that Travis sends her a letter to celebrate the last show, and she reads part of it out loud. She says, "So many unbelievable memories on this tour, but my favorite was seeing you in concert for the first time, being mesmerized and swept off my feet by a woman who doesn't even know me. I selfishly say thank you for creating this legendary tour, and to Robert for making you stop through Kansas City, Missouri. That night, too, in KC was the beginning of me meeting the love of my life." And then she like trails off and keeps just like reading it silently, which is very cute because that made me feel like it probably said like, "And I can't wait to marry you" or something.
Yeah.
Just so cute.
So cute. Do you think that Travis like second guesses every word he writes because he knows that she's an academic? And like
I bet at first.
Because I'm sure he's like, oh, let me make sure I know how to spell mesmerized before I write this.
That just made me think of when they went on the New Heights podcast together for her to announce Life of a Showgirl. And, you know, like they have like a little clip of her and Travis getting ready, like sitting in front of the camera. And Travis says something or forgets the word for something. And she just pats his face and is like, "You're so handsome."
Yeah.
So funny.
I'm sure that happens daily.
Yeah.
But I like it. He doesn't seem bothered by it. He's just like, yep, been hit in the head too many times.
Yeah.
One girl that she gave the 22 hat to shook Taylor's world a bit, she said. Taylor said, "She hugged me and said, 'Is this real life?' And she genuinely meant it." And I was like, actually, I don't know.
So cute.
I also liked this part. Taylor's coming up with like the very last mashup of the show. And Andrea casually suggests to her as she's practicing that she should change the words in Long Live that are, "It was an end of a decade," to "It was an end of an era," which ended up being like one of the most iconic moments of the tour, I think, and made everyone really emotional. So I liked that.
Go, Andrea.
One of the last things I'll say is that I could tell by this last show that Taylor was definitely grateful for the tour, but like over it.
She was ready. Yeah, she was ready.
She cared about the Chiefs game. She wanted to know if they were going to win. She was kind of like annoyed that she had to be interrupted to like do her last show.
Yeah.
She was done.
I'm sure she was ready for their relationship because it does seem like it was so serious already. I'm sure she was ready to not be on tour and be able to like give it a fair shot, you know?
I think so. And Taylor leaves us with this quote, which is, "There's joy in the show, but there's also snarling, angry bitterness, despondence, heartbreak, wistfulness, theatrical magic. Being able to feel those things together, screaming those lyrics, brings joy. People come with different lived experiences and beliefs, and we have moments of connectivity. It's about passion and about accepting all kinds of passion throughout the human experience. There's something so unifying about that. And I agree. That's how I felt on the tour.
Agree.
At the show. That's how I felt at the show. I didn't go on the tour.
On the tour.
I wish.
When I was on the tour.
As the backup dancer.
I'm so happy that we got this docuseries from her.
Me too.
As many notes as we have, and as much as like, she's never going to be a perfect person. She's never going to be a perfect performer.
We'll take our scraps.
Absolutely. This was lovely.
It's like Ed Sheeran said. Ed Sheeran said in that very first episode, it's like they don't even see you as human anymore.
Yeah.
And it's true. She's on like such a huge pedestal now.
Everyone's always going to have something to say, including us.
Including us. And that's okay.
Yeah. This was great. We have to cover Miss Americana at some point. We're not going to do it this month, but if you guys want that, definitely let us know. And I can't wait for next week, guys. Next week, we're covering Pamela, A Love Story, the Pamela Anderson doc that's on Netflix. Go watch it so that you're caught up with us, or we're going to recap it. So if you don't worry. But shout out Joe, because you requested it. It is one of my favorites, and it is my birthday episode next week, so I can't wait.
Yay.
Woohoo.
Big birthday, too.
I know. 30. Whoa.
Oh, wow. Flirty and thriving.
That's right.
Let's go. Well, I can't wait until next week. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Make sure you're following us on social media at What We're Watching Pod and leaving us a rating or review wherever you're listening.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.